Minasan konnichiwa und welcome. And today I'm going to do another reading for you guys. But this time it's a reading of another beloved Brothers Grimm fairy tale, and that's Snow White, known in Germany as Schneewittchen. In Japan, it's Shirayukihime. In Mexico, it's Blanca Nueves. In Sweden, it's Snövot. And in Brazil, it's Branca de Neve. But instead of the traditional old-fashioned way, my take on Snow White, or Shirayukihime, is going to be in a more modern setting. Here we go. Once upon a time, in the northern part of the Bronx, New York, lived a very sweet, beautiful little girl named Snow White, Blanca Nueves, who was very loved by the members of Broadway and members of the Academy of Arts and Sciences, who was very also loved by her loving parents. But one day, the good, kind mother mysteriously passed away, and the father soon remarried to an evil, nasty queen who sounds pretty much identical to Lucille Laverne from the Disney film. And then another few years go by, and the king perished during a war against internet trolls. And I do mean internet trolls, not the trolls you see in fairy tales. But the evil queen did not shed a single tear that day, because she was cold, heartless, ruthless, and merciless. So the evil queen basically treated Snow White like how the stepmother treated Cinderella, Shindorada, La Cenicienta. And he made her wear Kim Kardashian's hand-me-downs. And of course some of Khloe and Kourtney Kardashian's hand-me-downs as well. And one particular morning, the queen was looking at herself in her many different mirrors, but her most favorite one was the magic mirror. And she basically told her mirror, "Magic mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all? Lips red as the rose, hair black as ebony, skin white as snow. Snow White." And in the bottom portion of Snow White's MTV style crib were basically some of her hangout buddies. You know, people have actually appeared on MTV Cribs. Like Baby Spice, two members of the Backstreet Boys, Justin Timberlake from NSYNC, and an old legend, Tennessee Ernie Ford, from the Rankin Bass cartoon The Mouse and the Mayflower. And then, unexpectedly, the huntsman showed up. But he's actually dressed as the pizza delivery boy. And he tried to kill Snow White, but he eventually couldn't do it. And told the little princess to run. Run for her life. And she did just that by leaving the northern part of the city, and found herself scared, alone, and hungry in the dark city alleys. And then out of nowhere, she found a big cottage in the middle of the city. Well, that particular cottage is actually in the style of a typical mansion that you see on MTV Cribs. You know, chilling in the hood. And she was knocking at the door to see if anyone was home. But apparently they weren't. The little people weren't home at the moment. So Snow White just basically invaded their home and ate all of their Chinese takeout. And then she started getting tired and went to bed. Meanwhile, all 7 of the dwarves were working at a local Pizza Hut. Yep, they are actually working at Pizza Hut, where they make a huge amount of cash by delivering pizzas to different residential homes in the suburban part of the city. And then, when the time came to clock out, the dwarves headed back home, driving in their 1992 Chevrolet vehicle. And then the dwarves found out that their house has been ransacked by an intruder. And the dwarves were walking up the stairs and then found out that someone was sleeping on 3 of those beds. And that poison was obviously Snow White, Shirayukihime, Branca de Neve. And she basically told them, "It is so rude to wake someone up during a nap. Okay, so I'm not really that good at imitating Betty Boop, but at least I'm trying." And Snow White introduced herself, which of course is Snow White in English, Shirayukihime in Japanese, Snövot in Swedish, and Branca de Neve in Brazilian Portuguese. And the dwarfs introduced themselves. There was hungry, angry, shy, graceful, as in a dwarf who has a thing for Audrey Hepburn, digger. And the last two dwarves are pretty much German and Japanese respectively, which are Brak and Koichi. And Snow White eventually prepared supper for them. And the dwarves eat pretty much anything that's fast food, from McDonald's to Burger King to Pizza Hut to Domino's Pizza to Panda Express, you know, the Chinese joint, to Papa Murphy's, to Subway, to Dairy Queen. To even some of the local New York places, like Lombardi's Pizza Parlor, led by Gennaro Lombardi. And then, for some particular reason, the evil queen was watching them the whole time. And the queen have thought of different ways to try and kill Snow White. Shirayukihime, Branca de Neve. She first disguised herself as a male peddler. And it went something like this.
Oh my, an old man. Do you need help or something?
Yes, I do. I need some really good help. Arigato gozaimasu. Muchas gracias. Dankeschön.
Is there anything else you need?
Not really, but I have come to give you something in return.
Oh, what is it?
A pretty black choker to go with your really pretty neck. And then that choker eventually knocked her out cold. And the potion the queen was using were basically half a bottle of Mountain Dew Sangria Blast with a pint of Wild Cherry Pepsi. Yeah, this is going to be a very long reading, so stay tuned for part 2, amigos, and I'll be right back after these messages.